Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1735BN. Today's date is December 7th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Clinton Foundation Investigation Complete. Operators are active. Now, before I get started, we all know the deep state, they're going to be fighting back, but we don't know exactly the next move of the deep state. And I just want to say one of the best devices you can invest for your home protection is a flashlight, the Patriot flashlight. Why is it the best? Never waste money on batteries again. It's solar powered. Life-saving emergency strobe light, emergency siren. Let others know you're in danger. Charge your phone anywhere. It has a compass, rope, wire cutter, and glass breaking hammer. Patriot flashlight is the perfect holiday gift for you and your family. Take advantage and give the gift of protection to your loved ones this holiday season. Use the code X20 and receive 20% off the Patriot flashlight. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, Trump has been going after Comey and the gang like there's no tomorrow, Mueller included. Now, again, we talked about Mueller. Most likely he's a gray hat, but Trump has to keep up the pretense that Mueller is a bad egg, making the press side with Mueller, because once everything comes out and Mueller is on the side of investigating the Clintons, the press won't be able to say anything. The deep state can't say anything. Those who've been, going after Trump with Mueller and things like can't say anything. And Trump just came out with a slew of tweets today. Here's the first one. Robert Mueller and Lincoln Lion James Comey are best friends, just one of many Mueller conflicts of interest. And by the way, wasn't the woman in charge of prosecuting Jerome Corsi, who I do not know, in charge of legal at the corrupt Clinton Foundation? A total witch hunt. Will Robert Mueller's big-time conflicts of interest be listed at the top of his Republicans-only report? Will Andrew Weissman's horrible and vicious prosecutorial past be listed in the report? He royally destroyed people's lives, took down great companies, only to be overturned 9-0 in the United States Supreme Court. Doing same thing to people now. Will all the substantial and many contributions made by the 17 angry Democrats to the campaign of crooked Hillary be listed in top of report? Will the people that worked for the Clinton Foundation be listed at the top of the report? Will the scathing document written about Lion James Comey by the man in charge of the case, Rod Rosenstein, who also signed the FISA warrant, be a big part of the report? Isn't Rod therefore totally conflicted? Will all of the lying and leaking by the people doing the report, and also Bruce Orr and his lovely wife Molly Comey, Brennan Clapper, and all the many fired people of the FBI be listed in the report? Will the corrupt within the DNC and Clinton campaign be exposed? And so much more. Now, he is naming pretty much almost everyone, lumping them in because we know what's coming. He's dropping the breadcrumbs to let everyone know what to expect. Listen, people might not be reading his tweets, but the corporate media, the mainstream media, they might read them and laugh at them, which allows it to get into people's subconscious. And this is what Trump is looking to do. Now, Trump also tweeted out about the illegals that are headed up to Arizona. This is what he said. Arizona, together with our military and border patrol, is bracing for a massive surge at a non-walled area. We will not let them through. Big danger. Nancy and Chuck must approve border security and the wall. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to try to push these people into the United States. This has been the agenda since the beginning, to create chaos. And it looks like this is what they're going to try to do at this area in Arizona where there's no wall, because the other places where there's walls, they have barbed wire and things like that, and it is a lot easier to keep the illegals out. But those areas where there are no walls, you have to make sure that you are watching every area of the border. Now, what's very interesting about all of this is that former President Barack Obama, his administration rewarded an organization with ties to George Soros to help unaccompanied alien children avoid deportation from the United States. An immigration reform lawsuit investigation reveals that between 2015 and 2016, the Obama administration rewarded the Vera Institute of Justice $310 million in contracts to help UACs, young migrants who came to the U.S.-Mexico border unaccompanied, to avoid deportation. So the IRLI investigation reveals that the Obama administration rewarded the Vera Justice Institute with millions in American taxpayer-funded contracts to give direct legal representation to UACs in deportation proceedings. These unauthorized payments have undoubtedly speeded up the UACs released from detention facilities to join their families, relatives, or fellow gang members. So Obama, Soros, and the rest, they were paying for all of this with taxpayer money to push their agenda forward, when most of the people in this country didn't want this. And if you go back in time, this is why Obama waited for after the midterms to sign that memorandum executive order to allow illegals into the country, where they came into the country, they escorted them to a bus, and they sent them off to a sanctuary city, because he knew that if this was brought up before the midterms, people would have objected to it, because most of the country, the majority of the country, does not want this. Now we see that Trump has found a replacement for Nikki Haley, and this is Heather Nauert, and she's going to be coming in as the UN ambassador. And Trump tweeted out the following: I am pleased to announce that Heather Nauert, spokeswoman for the United States Department of State, will be nominated to serve as United Nations ambassador. I want to congratulate Heather and thank Ambassador Nikki Haley for her great service to our country. Also, Trump is saying that he has a replacement for Sessions. Whitaker is in his spot right now, and he is looking to nominate Bill Barr as the next Attorney General. And Bill Barr, he served as Attorney General from 1991 to 1993 under former President George H.W. Bush, which is very interesting, and we'll get into that in Q's post, because Q does mention this. Yesterday we talked about Julian Assange and how the president of Ecuador was telling Julian Assange that he spoke to the UK government and he could be set free. Well, Julian Assange has rejected an agreement reached between Ecuador and the UK, because Julian Assange realizes and understands that all the president of Ecuador did was say, listen, you will not get the death penalty. But he left out the part about going to prison. And I believe that Julian Assange right now, if he is in the embassy of Ecuador, maybe he is, and he's being protected. Q has said that they had the source many, many times. He understands that don't take this deal, stay where you are. We see the rebellion of the Yellow Vests. They are spreading right now. We're getting ready for another round this weekend. And throughout the whole entire country of France, they've deployed about 89,000 police. And it looks like the Yellow Vests, well, they're expanding to the Netherlands to protest against political correctness and immigration policies, and to call for the resignation of left Liberal Prime Minister Mark Rutte. So it looks like this movement is spreading across many different countries right now, and I believe it's going to continue to spread because people are starting to hear what is really going on. They're getting real information. They're starting to realize what's going on, and they're saying no more. And I believe this is the beginning of this major, major movement. Maybe it is started by, we don't want this tax. We don't want this carbon tax. We don't like this. We don't like political correctness. But eventually what's going to happen, it's going to come into a full movement against these deep state leaders. Q has told us that this is much more than taxes, and I do believe this. We see that the U.S. is not mulling any type of military action in Ukraine in regards to the Kerch Strait incident. Now, I know the mainstream media, they're trying to push this story, trying to get something going. We know Poroshenko is taking orders from the Western intelligence operatives. They really want to get this war going with Russia, but it is not going to work. First of all, Russia does not work that way. Putin does not work that way, I should say. He's never fallen into the trap of going to war because something happens. He sits back, he waits, and he comes up with a different plan. He uses different strategies than the deep state, where the deep state are like Siths from Star Wars, where they say, listen, if you don't do it our way, that's it. It's war. You're dead. We don't have a gray area. We have black and white. So Putin is more of a gray area type of guy, more of a strategist, just like Trump and the military behind Trump, the Patriots. They sit, they wait, they plan, because they're looking to have peace. They're not looking to have war. The deep state, they just want war, and this is why they're so black and white. You do it our way, or we're going to war. You do it our way, or we attack you. That's how it's been for a very long time. And they use fake information to trick the people. Oh, it's terrorists, it's Al-Qaeda, it's the Islamic State. So we have to invade these countries. I would say 99.999% of all of this has been fake. We've been tricked into all these wars in the Middle East. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. The first post is an article from The Hill, and Q says, and this is post number 2560, Q says, read carefully. Why is the Clinton Foundation back in the news? And this is the title of this article from The Hill, and I'll read a portion of it. Feds received whistleblower evidence in 2017 alleging Clinton Foundation wrongdoing. Here's the article. When a House subcommittee chairman bangs his gavel next week to convene an unprecedented investigative hearing into the Clinton Foundation, two questions will linger as preeminent. Is the Clinton family charity really the international do-gooder that earned a perfect 4-star rating from Charity Navigator? Or does it suffer from corruption and illegalities as conservatives allege? And if it is the latter, how much evidence of wrongdoing does the government possess? The answer to the first question is that the foundation and its projects reported collecting about $2.5 billion to help global crisis, from AIDS to earthquakes, even as its own auditors, lawyers, and employers privately warned of problems over the years. The answer to the second question may reside in the 6,000 pages of evidence attached to a whistleblower submission filed secretly more than a year ago with the IRS and the FBI. That evidence was assembled by a private firm called MDA Analytics, LLC, run by accomplished ex-federal criminal investigators who allege the Clinton Foundation engaged in illegal activities and may be liable for millions of dollars in delinquent taxes and penalties. In addition to the IRS, the firm's partners have had contact with prosecutors in the Maine Justice Department in Washington and FBI agents in Little Rock, Arkansas. And last week, a federal prosecutor suddenly asked for documents from their private investigation. The 48-page submission dated August 11, 2017, supports its claims with 95 exhibits, including internal legal reviews that the foundation conducted on itself in 2008 and 2011. Those reviews flagged serious concerns about legal compliance, improper commingling of personal and charity business, quid pro quo promises made to donors while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. The submission also cites in an interview its investigation conducted with Andrew Kessel that quotes the foundation's longtime chief financial officers as saying he was unable to stop former President Clinton from commingling personal, business, and charitable activities inside the foundation, and that he knows where all the bodies are buried. That's very interesting right there. There is a probable cause that the Clinton Foundation has run afoul of IRS rules regarding tax-exempt charitable organizations and has acted inconsistently with its stated purpose. MDA Analytics allege in its submission the foundation should be investigated for all the above-mentioned improprieties. The tax rules, codes, statutes, and the rule of law should and must be applied to this case. Now, Huber has been working on this, and he called MDA Analytics last week, seeking copies of their evidence, according to sources. The firm told the prosecutor that the FBI has possessed the evidence in its Little Rock office since early 2018. Some evidence that the MDA investigator cited is public source, such as internal foundation reviews hacked in 2016 and given to WikiLeaks, other materials provided to the investigators by foreign governments that have done business with the charity, or by Foundation insiders. One of the non-public documents is an interview memo the MDA Analytics investigator penned after meeting with Kessel in late November of 2016 at the Princeton Club in New York City. Kessel told those investigators that one of the biggest problems was Mr. Clinton's commingling and use of business and donated funds and his personal expenses. There is no controlling Bill Clinton. He does whatever he wants and runs up incredible expenses with foundation funds. Bill Clinton mixes and matches his personal business with that of the foundation. Many of the people within the foundation have tried to caution him about this, but he does not listen, and there really is no talking to him. So why is the Clinton Foundation back in the news? Because Huber's impending testimony before Congress subcommittee on December 13th, and most likely the investigation has been completed. I don't believe they would have leaked any of this out or said anything if the investigation was not completed. And Q does confirm this in later posts. We will get there. Post 2561 put everything from 2560 and added the following. When did POTUS make the statement calm before the storm? That was on October 25th, 2017. When was Huber activated by Sessions? I think that was March 29th, 2018. Who is assigned to Huber? 470 investigators. Acting Attorney General primary purpose, take control of Mueller, take control of the investigations. He is not bound by recusals of the Russian investigation. Scaramucci model. Public opinion optics do not matter. What was leaked today on purpose? Gave a link to a Twitter feed. And this is from John Roberts. At Real Donald Trump wants to nominate William Barr to be the next Attorney General. Barr served as Attorney General during the Bush 41 presidency. While POTUS normally likes to surround himself with people he knows and likes, he doesn't know Barr, but Barr commands immense respect. Q continues, Huber to testify, R.E. Clinton Foundation. Now, the information was brought out into the public limelight to let everyone know that, yes, the Clinton Foundation is under investigation, or it was, and it's now completed. Huber is going to testify. Huber is going to reveal active probe actively underway into organization. OIG to release report number 2. Overview indicating many potentially criminal referrals made. That's in brackets and all bold. We do not discuss active ongoing Department of Justice FBI investigations. Military intel, FISA, the world is watching. So the feds received whistleblower evidence in 2017 alleging Clinton Foundation wrongdoing. There's been an investigation going on all this time. And guess what? It looks like the investigation is over because they don't put this information out there if there's an investigation going on. So that must mean it's completed. Now in post 2562, Q comes back and says the following and gives us a link to a video from Fox News. And under it, it says interesting music for Fox News. Now this is all about Clintons and their foundation. And it's like a little slideshow of showing how corrupt they are. And the music is from Magic Sword. And if you go to Mark 4750 on this music, and we have to remember what the Magic Sword is, we need to go back to post 2064. This is played by operations specialists. When they perform an operation, they play this music. Q also mentions this in 2065, 2066. So they're playing this music in the background of this Fox News slideshow. Operators are active because this is the music they play. Why all of a sudden are people talking about the Clinton Foundation, including whistleblowers and hidden company established to investigate covertly? Example, ABCs. Would you go public if the investigation was still ongoing? Absolutely not. What does that tell us? They've completed the investigation. What happens when you have enough evidence to proceed? Charges, prosecution, trials. What is the benefit of educating the public prior to proceeding? Well, the public understands what is about to happen. They have all the facts. They have all the real information ahead of time. Then Q finishes up with Comey with the Y in brackets. So Comey is testifying behind closed doors today. He was supposed to testify on December 5th. It was moved to Friday, which is today, and he's being questioned behind closed doors. Now, we're getting reports from different individuals. One of them is Representative Darrell Issa, saying that Comey is not answering questions. He's refusing to answer questions on the start of the Russia investigation and the Carter Page FISA docs. Very interesting. So is he pleading the fifth? Maybe. Because why doesn't he want to answer any of this? It's behind closed doors. Everyone can see the classified information because he's afraid to incriminate himself. Post 2563. Q put up a Twitter link, and this is Air Force One call sign Q0. Now, gave us a couple pictures here to show us that, yes, Air Force One is Q0, and you can see the plane. There's a Q and a 0 next to it. Now, under this, Q says something very interesting, and this is a Q proof, by the way. Where is the plus sign on a mobile phone when dialing? Well, if you pick up your mobile phone, you see it's under 0. Trolling the fake news media is fun. At some point, the Q will be asked. Remember, Q plus is the president. Air Force One is Q0. They're one and the same. And one day, they're going to ask, who is Q? Who is Q plus? Do you know them? Now remember, the mainstream media doesn't want to ask because it will no longer be a conspiracy theory. And their whole entire narrative, and this is the mainstream media, the deep state, goes down the tubes. And then everyone will start to realize that this is real intelligence, real news that is coming out from the administration. It's no longer a conspiracy. Think about that for a second. Post 2564 says, and Anon says, operators on standby. Q plus Q0. Q says operators are active, all caps. They're ready to make their move. How many clues, proofs until the fake news media wakes up? Who knows? Post 2565. Scot-free equals where we go one, we go all. Q0 equals Q plus. At what point do they wake up? It's completely obvious. There's no mistake. There's no conspiracy. The mainstream media will not ask. And we know that Q, Trump team, they continually push disinformation to make the deep state use their ammunition. Now, I believe December 5th, when they came out with that date, they wanted to see what the deep state was going to do to try to delay this. Now, many people say, and this is coming from Trump's tweet yesterday about, this is not a funeral. Some people believe that Bush might have died many days before. They waited to see when all these individuals were going to testify, and then said George H.W. Bush died, and then they had the funeral on December 5th. And this is why Trump said this is not a funeral, because it happened many days before this. So this is very interesting how the deep state, they're continually trying to delay the inevitable. Now, Q has warned us that they're going to continue to try to delay what is coming. Now, is it going to be another funeral? Is it going to be a suicide week? I don't know how many times they can play that before everyone says, okay, this is ridiculous. All these people are just dying. It makes no sense after a while. It's mathematically impossible. So they most likely will try some other tactic. Now, it's very interesting. We talked about this before. Social media is their biggest enemy. Those people that are pushing out the truth, reporting on cue, looking and sifting through the news, not reporting what the mainstream media is doing, that is the deep state, the central banks, mainstream media. That's their enemy. The people, we the people, thinking on our own, completely awake, understanding what is going on. Now, we know that Q said that Twitter, Facebook, they might be going down. POTUS might not be able to tweet. And they might black out certain accounts, certain maybe server locations saying that, we're having troubles here, but other people will still be able to post. And those people that they don't want you to see, they'll be hidden. Now, it's very interesting. We've been seeing strange outages of the social media platforms. Now, Facebook, they had another issue this morning at 10:32 a.m. So Facebook has been having a lot of these issues. YouTube has had these issues. Twitter has had these issues. And I do believe that they've been experimenting and testing their cutoff switches to see if it works. Because I don't believe they want to shut down everybody. They just want to shut down certain individuals, certain groups, and they're going to say, well, those people were tied to these servers. These people were tied to these servers. We thought we had load balancing and we thought this was backed up, but it wasn't working. And that's why you can't see these people right now. They're coming up with some type of explanation, because when all of this really hits, which is coming any day, because we know on December 13th, we'll have to see what they do up to that point. Maybe they won't use the blackout of social media at that point. Maybe they will use some other type of event. Maybe there'll be another funeral, who knows? But they will try some type of stall tactic. Comey, as we can see, he's refusing to answer questions behind closed doors. These people are stuck. The patriots are in control. And the only thing the deep state, the mainstream media has left is to stall, is to black out, is to keep others silent. And they will go to any length to do that. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.